If it's you, me, Turner, 3, you'd pick me over Turner.
100%, 100%.
If you trust me that much, why put me in a position this week where I could be in danger?
It's Nick Short's BB Remix, and this is where I'll explore the social dynamic of Big Brother through videos and shorts. I capture live footage between the house guests before "You Are Not Allowed to Talk About Production" comes over the loudspeaker. Each week, look for brand new videos, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you'll be the first to know when I upload a new video, and be sure to comment to say hello.
Happen.
Unless she said that I outed everything.
Well, she could have, which is fine, because that, I mean, I think that's the truth, and that's, I think we're completely fine with owning up to that, owning the information. So it's not like that was, you know, like a surprise.
Yeah.
To me, like, it's the fact that she's saying that now she feels closer to Taylor because she heard more information from Taylor. I'm like, Taylor couldn't have shared any more information than I shared last night, so that's BS. So she was like, yeah, I was just more upset with Taylor because she didn't come to me first with this information last week, and people just sort of talked about it and never approached me about it when it was all fluff. I said, that's interesting. I said, you didn't approach us either. I was like, when you heard the information, all week, we didn't hear from you. You were distant, you were keeping to yourself, you didn't even want to have a conversation with Michael in the fucking room. So I was like, what's your explanation for that? Oh, well, you know, I'm a processor and I just consider it as fluff and I just didn't think that it was necessary to share. Bullshit. I'm like, more bullshit. I just can't bear to hear that excuse. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. You give me the same runaround. It's frustrating to hear it, but whatever it is what it is. Then she tries to say, like, she 100% trusts Taylor and trusts our final 3 and wants us to, you know, go all the way to the end, this, that, and third. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, it's interesting you say that you don't share information right after you hear it, because yesterday in my HOH room, you came in and told me that Taylor was gassing this whole 3-way girls thing and making sure we last to the end, and now you're telling me that you don't talk about stuff that happens immediately after. You just did that yesterday. So again, it was like fucking 10 things, bro, that I was just like, bullshit. So then she gets down to, then we get down to talking about next week. And this is some fuck shit. This is when I almost got a little pissed, but I'm trying not to. Like, I stared her deep in the eye, like, you really fucking with the wrong. So she says, yeah, you know, I really believe in our final 3 between me, you, and Taylor. And, you know, I'm thinking that right now, this is an opportunity to put Turner up, of course, right? And make sure that we get him out this week. Next week is Alyssa, and then we're in the final 3, you know, all the way clear as day. And I'm like, okay. And then she was like, you know, in order to reestablish that trust with us, she was like, you need to reestablish trust with us, is what she said. She said, yeah, in order for us to really know that you're with us, you need, or it would be great if you put up Turner. That way next week, when we have the option of being the single vote to either keep you or evict you, we could take that into consideration. I was like, so you're threatening me?
Wow, yeah, literally.
I was like, so you're saying that if I don't do this right now, that you're going to evict me next week if I'm on the block next to somebody. That's a great tactic. You must think I'm a fucking idiot. Like,
yeah.
I was just sitting there, I was smiling as hard as I could to just, like, almost in laughter, but I was staring deep in her eyes like, wow, like, this is where we're at right now. So then she does that, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then she starts talking about the alternative. She was like, the alternative is, you know, you put up Taylor, I think it's gonna erode the trust, and she says, I don't really see, you know, reason why you would want to have a final three with Turner and Alyssa as opposed to the three of us. And I was like, really? I was like, what makes you think Alyssa would make it past this week if I were to split the vote? She was like, oh, well, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense or whatever the hell. So that to me is indicating that I think if Taylor goes up, she might actually vote against Taylor, which would be so fucked up for her game.
Yeah.
But either way, I feel like Taylor would be much more of an asset next week than Alyssa would be, just from the competition standpoint.
Where do you think Taylor is filled in on everything Brittany said? Like, is she
To
also
me-
gunning for this final three with her, you, and Brittany?
I think she wants it, but at the same time, because I had a conversation right after all of this with Brittany. Oh, and let me finish with Brittany just really quick, because I can fill you in on what Taylor said and what I told her. So there's that, right? Then she goes, Auntie, you gotta understand that, like, I was hitching my horse to Michael, and a lot of people may have thought like I was fine with second, and to an extent I was, and I am, because in order for me to start my childbirth process, I need about 40K. So getting second place is not that big of a deal to me, and I just want you to know that, and I want to let everybody know this is not a final two, but I'm just letting you know what my perspective is on making it to the end. So I'm like, so now you're using personal shit to try to convince me to do what you want to do.
Hate that.
It was so disgusting. It was just like so frustrating to hear her continue to ramble on about all these things. Anyway, that was the gist of it, bro. And I was so pissed. I was just like, I need to talk to other people. So Alyssa came in. I told her, like, I asked her what she, expected from me, or what would she consider ideal. And she said that she would like to have Taylor go up and not you, right? So she was solid on that front. So to me, that indicates that the girls thing isn't really a thing, because she wouldn't be willing to put up Taylor if she was prioritizing that over you. But then I had a conversation with Taylor, and her mindset is, I think she's purely thinking about threats to her game, right? So she sees you as a strong competitor. She sees me as a strong competitor. So when I talked to her about all this shit about Brittany, she was like, yeah, she's fucking crazy. Like, what the hell? Like, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe she's saying all this stuff, threatening you, all that sort of stuff. She was like, I would love a final three with you in Turn. She was like, I'm just worried that Turner's just going to beat the bricks off of me, right? And she was talking just purely game at that point, which I understand.
Because I also want a final three with you and Taylor. It seems like a dope final three if Taylor's on board.
Yeah, no, I completely believe in that final three. Because I feel like we've all had a chance to beat each other in something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just more of an even playing field at that point. And I feel like with the two of us, we got shit on our resume that even if we're sitting next to Taylor somehow, or she picks one of us, we're good, right?
Oh, yeah,
even if she
definitely.
wins a comp and she wins HOH. So,
And at this point now, one of us is sitting next to Brittany. Somehow there is an argument to take Brittany out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, and that's
But granted, if one of us was sitting next to Brittany, the other one would vote, so it's obvious.
Right, exactly. So that was my point to Taylor. I was like, look, like, I understand what your concerns are. I was like, but you got to understand where I'm at. I was like, next week, I'm not playing for HOH, so I need as many dogs in the fight as possible to make sure that Brittany does not win. Then on top of that, I can play in the veto, you can play in the veto, and Turner can play in the veto. That's 3 versus 1. So to make sure that she is on the block, one of us needs to make sure that we win veto.
Yeah.
So I told her that, and she was all completely on board with that plan. And she was just like, I understand what you're saying. She was like, my concern is only that I'm just not sure if I can beat Turner. That was her perspective, and that's the honest truth, right? But I did tell her, like, look, this week, I'm more than likely leaning towards putting her up on the block. I even told her about our conversation with, me wanting a unanimous vote and not wanting to get down to 1-1. and told her that, you know, I think we could have a deal between the two of us to make sure that she's good this week. You know, it's not just Brittany that she has to depend on, because she can't trust her. She's lost all trust with Brittany. It's not like she likes her as a person. She just thinks that she can beat Brittany. And I think it's logical, right? But at the same time, like, it's kind of fucked because you're depending on somebody, because she just knows that Brittany, if I'm here next week, wouldn't target her. That's really the reason why she's saying all of this. But she knows that if the both of us are here next week, then Brittany's going to target the both of us. You know what I mean? So I think she feels more insulated in that situation.
Yeah.
So I get why from a game standpoint why she wants to go through with that. It wasn't anything personal about you, you know, like. It wasn't anything personal about you or anything like that. And I even told her, I was like, let's just break down what have both people done for us lately? Brittany left us excluded in all of these conversations that she was having with Turner. I was like, say if Turner actually did make it up, why didn't she just tell us about it right when it happened? Or even sometime that, I was like, the fact that Turner came up and cleared the air shortly thereafter gives me a lot more trust and faith in his word than in Brittany, who was acting super sketchy. And I was like, then on top of that, she was questioning me about us having the final two and this, that, and the third. Brittany was, when Michael and Taylor were out there one day, and I was like, so she clearly doesn't trust me. I was like, how am I going to sit here and feel good about going into next week with pretty much just by myself trying to beat Brittany in a veto competition? I was like, I can't do that. So she understood wholeheartedly where I was coming from. Of course, she didn't like the idea of going up on the block again. And of course, she's also concerned that if she feels like she can't trust Brittany and she's not sure how you would vote with Alyssa, that she could go home this week. But I'm trying to give her some reassurances that, look, that's not going to be the case.
Later today, if I'm alone with Taylor, I say we chatted, and just so she knows that if she is up on the block, that I will vote to keep her.
That would be a humongous favor.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I think I need to put her at ease and make sure that she's on our side as much as possible.
And I would probably include, like, probably go something along the lines of, this is my rough draft, like, I'm totally fine, like, Alyssa's one of my best friends in the house. I'm absolutely fine with sending her home and keeping me, you, and Monty in the end, and hoping that builds trust with her that I will send Alyssa home to keep her.
Dude, that would be a huge favor, because I think that's where she's shitting her pants.
Yeah,
because I honestly can't fucking trust Brittany. I don't know if she'll actually vote for Taylor. Yeah, I have no idea if she will, because I think what she would do is assume, and you know what, this will be fucking perfect. You know what she's gonna do? I think she's gonna assume that you're gonna vote for Alyssa if Taylor's on the block. What she would probably do is actually vote for Alyssa to stay, and then put the blame
On me.
on you.
That it was the opposite.
Yeah, right. Or to say that she got convinced by Turner or whatever the hell that she should vote to keep Alyssa or something like that. But in my opinion, I think if you tell her as much as possible, I would love for Alyssa to stay, I would love for Alyssa to stay, but in reality, know that, you know, we got our agreement, right? You're off the block. The only thing I'm asking is that you just vote Alyssa out this week. And then when the vote comes, if it is a split, that means that she was about to turn on Taylor. And we can fucking use that next week so that if any one of us is sitting next to Brittany, well, I guess there's only one situation where, because I can't do an HOH. So if I'm sitting next to Brittany and you're HOH and she has to vote between me and Brittany, she feels good about making that call to vote out Brittany, because Brittany was about to vote her out the week before, and we can use that information. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. I would love to try to also talk with Brittany and casually be like, oh, so we're still good to go to the end, to see what she says. See if she's flipping another bullshit story to me against Taylor, see what I can get out of her to make up a lie.
I think that would be perfect, bro. Because right now, unfortunately, Taylor's one of those people. Taylor's one of those people where, like, I think she is thinking logically about it, but at the same time, when somebody's playing this dirty, like, you can't trust whatever move that they're gonna make. You know what I mean?
No.
It's like, she could, in some case, who knows? Maybe if I were HOH next week, right, like in a hypothetical world, and she really valued that final two with you, she could possibly vote to keep you over Taylor. You know, like, that's just the type of person that I believe she is right now. She's willing to do anything to benefit her game and whatever scheme she's got going on, but she's got no loyalty to us. I don't know.
I don't think she has loyalty to even anyone.
Anyone. Nope. After Michael
Whoever's convenient, she's going to do. Whoever's HOH,
Yep.
she's going to do the thing too.
Yeah. Even when we were talking in the room, she was like, oh yeah, and, you know, I also wanted to share some more information. I was like, fuck it, we were talking all last night. Why didn't you talk about this shit last night? I was like, yo, everything you do is just bullshit. Like, it's hard to hold it in, man. It's
Oh
just,
yeah, big time.
Yeah, but anyway.